Paintball nerd.
Today's guest on Paintball Nerds Fun 5 started playing paintball in 1989. He went pro in 1997 with Detroit Fusion and has played for Revolution, All A's, Image, Trauma, Avalanche, Dynasty, Ironmen, Miami Effect, Infamous, X Factor, and now he plays the 10-man with KAPP Factory. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, AK-47, Andy Kopcok.
What's happening? How are
What's
ya?
happening, dude? I'm good.
Hey, yeah,
Thanks for coming on.
you've been kicking ass. You won that last 10 man. You've got that under your belt now, and then you
Hey,
started this, and good for you. You know, you're flying high. Good for you. I'm happy for you.
thanks, Andy. Yeah, it means a lot. Dude, I remember, you were one of my first pro teammates when I went pro with the Ironmen in 2003.
Yep.
And we had a lot of fun together back in those days.
Yep, we did get up to some shenanigans there with Rich and Billy and Yosh and all the boys, right? Like it was
Yeah.
we had quite the characters there, and we had a good time for sure.
Yeah, it was short-lived, but it was important for me because that was the very beginning of my pro career. And you had already been an established pro as well as the rest of the Ironmen. And then everyone, there's a big split to excessive. And but those first few events where I got to play with all those guys was pretty incredible.
Yeah, great to immerse yourself with all that talent around you, and you really learn quick on the fly, right?
Yeah. And man, you've
Awesome.
been you've been playing since I was 4 years old.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've been at the top of the sport for 3 decades, almost 3 decades. So, gosh, I didn't even know where to start, Andy. Like, tell us about. I almost feel bad asking you for a memory that stands out for you because I'm sure you got a zillion of them. But just share with us. What do you got?
Uh, I mean, shoot, we can kind of go through, a few things, I'm sure, but just growing up in Canada, I don't know if a lot of the viewers know, but I live in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, across from Detroit. And that's where I got my intro playing in Detroit. Actually, some of the Detroit guys from Lone Wolf originally started playing in Windsor, and then I subsequently went and bought some gear and played at their field in Michigan, and kind of started the whole trek with Fusion, and the rest is history. But yeah, no, it's a whirlwind, to be honest with you. Lots of good memories, and local stuff too, where you come into a sport and you just want to go have fun every weekend, and you don't know where it's going to lead you, right?
Mm,
Good things happen. A lot of local actually history in the game in Canada. Probably not that well documented. We had actually one of the first two paintball manufacturers was in my city. AccuCaps, they made Zap paintballs.
mm,
And then basically um, we had over the years at the early beginnings, somewhere I guess mid 90s sometime, we had that Skyball, which was a giant venue, retractable top baseball basketball stadium in Toronto, Ontario. So that really pushed sports kind of to the next kind of step. It did a little bit, and I'm kind of proud of that, being Canadian, where it's got a big history in the game as well, and that's really not well documented at all. There's very
yeah, it's
little
not.
from that era, basically.
Yeah, unless you got a bunch of old magazines, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I remember being a Canadian, driving back and forth, practicing in the States, but also going up to driving to Montreal, and I think the first time I met like the Gardeners and you're talking ages ago. We actually played at a tournament field with Richmond Italia ran a indoor field up in Montreal, and we had I think I ran into Todd Poopy Adamson. I mean, this is talking probably mid 90s somewhere, where this
Mm,
is all kind of just starting to happen type of thing. And there was quite a big following, and then subsequently, playing more and more in the United States. got gained a bit more recognition there.
What's happening in Canada with paintball now? Do you think it's gone down, or do you
You
think
know
it's
what?
growing?
It's always kind of been like demographics. We're usually a little bit smaller, right? So you've
Hmm.
got less fields. We did have our contingent of indoor fields. A lot of them kind of went down during COVID, right? The time there in 2020, 2021 wasn't good for a lot of fields. Um, there's still some survivors, and the scene is good. The tournament scene's actually really good. There's a X-Ball League run by Derek Welts, who also runs the semi-pro team called the Sea Dogs. He's doing really well. He gets a lot of teams out there, so there's quite a bit. It's still entrenched, and it seems to be growing. So you
Good.
can't argue. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got Impact out there, and they got to be. Well, are they? Do they do much in Canada, or is it mainly just here in the
So
States?
they're on the other coast, right? So where
Yeah.
I'm situated, I'm kind of Midwest. I'm actually on a peninsula down below like south of Detroit, actually. You think of
Hmm.
Canada, a lot of people think the north, but we're down at that area. And Impact was originally from Alberta, which is the other
Hmm.
side of the country, basically.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure what their schedule, where they're at nowadays. I know three or four of their players are still based, I think, in Alberta or have roots there. Most of the stuff I think is in the United States now.
Hmm. Well, throughout the years, Andy, what's a memory? It could be a win or just an adventure off the field that really stands out for you.
Geez. I mean, we've had lots of great, you know, groups that I was fortunate enough to tag along with and push the envelope with. And geez, so many, a lot of them come from those European Millennium events that we played back in the day. You know, little things, right? You're out of the country in a different culture, surrounded by your comrades, which is your brothers that we all call each other because we spend so much darn time together, and you
Yeah.
can get up to some shenanigans, much like we did on the Ironman together, right? So yeah. Um,
Well, for those that don't know, because I don't think players travel as much as they used to. What are some places that you've been?
um, Well, I think I did Toulouse, France, for 7 years in a row, actually.
Wow.
Copenhagen, Denmark, Sweden. Um, we did Germany, Spain. Got fortunate enough to go to Australia 4 times as well. Um, yeah. Can't recall quite all of the places, but did have quite a good run there for sure. England, of course, right?
It's amazing because when I talk to pro players that have been in it for a while and done a lot of traveling, they forget some of the amazing places that they've been, and it's like, it's I think it's the most valuable aspect of paintball, or professional paintball at least, is being able to travel the world and experience the world. And a lot of times people work their whole lives to accomplish that, and then they're too old to really enjoy it. you
Yeah,
know
absolutely. You don't know what you have until it's gone, or you realize later. But yeah, we
yeah.
definitely had the world by the oysters for sure.
Yeah. What's your favorite win, your most memorable win?
Ah, thinking here. Um, well, for good and bad, probably my first pro win with Fusion. It subsequently got turned over, and had to do it the next year with Revolution. But that first pro win is probably always the one that gets you. I mean, we had
Yeah.
won, thought we had won. Our hearts were actually broken. You had guys, young kids, kind of really humbled from that experience, and then really grew from there. Because I think in
Sure.
life, in general, I think I guess animosity or setbacks, I think make you stronger. And
Of course.
I think that a lot of my determination and my will these days, both on and off the paintball field, is derived from those difficult situations that you basically come out of or come through, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing the life lessons that paintball can teach you, because the public perception is that it's just kind of a silly war game. Um, but it's so much more than that. It's taught me crucial conversations, and it's taught me conflict resolution, and it's taught me teamwork. Paintball is this amazing. It's also been my whole life, so I guess I don't know anything else, right?
Right. But I think we were really tested though,
Yeah.
as young adults, getting thrown into, the situations that you've got to overcome. And you've got to come together a team, be determined, go through all the right, I guess, um, you don't know what they are, but I guess you would call them, your keys to success in life, right?
Yeah.
Those learning times, and then respecting your trade, and you know going in and working hard and being determined, and constantly refining yourself to always try to be on top, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Well, Andy, you've played with everyone. I mean, every top player. I mean, you've pretty much played with them. So I'm gonna make it play favorites here, and tell us who your favorite teammate has been over the years.
Ooh, that's a rough one. So
You
many
can give me
good
a
ones,
couple.
right?
You can give me a couple.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too many, right? A guy I grew up with playing, I guess at a young age too, was LB Brian Fowl. I guess kind of growing up, and we've now rekindled the relationship, playing with Cap together now, and
Yeah.
that's good. Got to play with Archie, Ryan Greenspan, and those guys. Ryan, along with Alex and Yosh. Really, Yosh, when we played with on Ironmen as well. But
Hmm.
those kind of guys, as far as teammates, they're just valuable. They're invaluable because they're always pushing the envelope. They're always refining. Even after wins, you're discussing what could have gotten better.
Hmm.
How could have refined something, and you're joking around, you're having fun, but you're also always thinking strategy throughout the whole
Hmm.
thing, right? There's a certain way that those top players that see the game most clearly, um, they look a few steps ahead, and they're always mixing it up, and trying to find the next, right, to get to
Yeah.
that ultimate goal. um, Another great teammate, right now, I would say Rodney Squires doesn't get a lot of respect in the game. He should. He's a fantastic leader, organizer, teammate. Great heart and soul. These kind of guys that they still has an ear with Dynasty, and a lot of people don't realize that. Dynasty is great on their own merit, performance on the field, but they lean on a lot of people, and
Yeah.
a lot of those old guys, older school guys, that they still touch base with a lot of things. So that's important as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys like Rodney are the type of guys that bring organization and cohesion to a team. It's like, it's not just you can't just always assume that, okay, everyone's going to show up to the field at this time, and we're going to walk fields, and we're going to walk this field and that field first. There's usually someone pulling the string saying, hey guys, set your alarms for this time, we're going to meet in the lobby at this time, we're going to walk this field. um, and then on top of that, add a tremendous amount of wisdom when you're on the field to the different spots that you're walking. That's what I've experienced with Rodney when playing with KAPP. It's like he's almost like a team manager, but he also brings an element of wisdom that wouldn't be there otherwise.
Right. Yep. And he sees the field really well through all those years of experience, and the different types of formats of the game, and that all kind of
Yeah,
comes together cohesion wise. Yeah, definitely.
yeah. How about okay, okay, of all time, who is your favorite player to watch? Meaning, every time you watch them, you're just excited because you know you're going to see something great.
Um, Well, back in the era when I was kind of coming up, I guess one of the guys was Little John Marquez.
Yeah.
The guys I looked up to were, kind of like the ruthless killers out there, because that's what I wanted to emulate. I wanted to be, you know, Little John or Chris Lasoya or George Davidson on the All Americans, who taught me about crawling and little things that I didn't really contemplate at the time. And you've got a villain like Mike Bruno, and just the sheer
Yeah.
grit and tenacity, and just that workhorse, and the game breaking moves, right? So that's
Yeah.
the style I tried to emulate, is those type of players.
Hmm. Yeah, those are some good ones there. Do you have a favorite one? Like out of all those guys, someone that you would call your favorite player?
Yeah, probably Little John. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just small, mean, kind of aggressive tendencies, and you don't know what you get. I mean, we used to play the back in the day, the GBD guys with him on that team, and there'd just be a dust cloud, and it'd be over, and he'd be behind you. You know what I mean? Just like that. You'd be playing in Vegas or something, and just those times, you learn so much from um, the way that you could break open a game, right?
Yeah. He gets mentioned quite a bit, LJ, and obviously for good reason. Absolute assassin, And believe it or not, Andy, I actually got him out to play an event
Nice.
2 years ago.
No
We
kidding.
got
That's
we
awesome.
got demolished. It was me and Eric Hunter and Arnold Francisco from the Assassins, and Miko Hootinen
Okay.
and Little John, and darn it, who am I forgetting here? I don't want to forget anyone. JP Augustin
Nice. Yep. That's awesome.
and Brandon Lambertson. and
Good
and
crew you're rolling with, for sure.
yeah, great crew, but I'm probably the worst any of us have ever done at anything in our lives. Like we didn't sign any of the scorecards or anything because we didn't know we had to do that. Like so we got like last place, but we got LJ out, so that was
Nice.
a
Nice.
win.
Nice. Yeah, that's a score, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I think I had taken a break from about 2008 or so, 8, 9, on till about 2019. I think I went to World Cup in 18, just to check it out, and it was crazy. And I think it was Yosh that reached out initially to come play with Dynasty at one of the 10 mans, and yeah, I mean, there's nothing like it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, having the old faces come out. I mean, I'm super grateful that they had me, and it just opened my eyes to where, honestly, it was one of those situations where kind of deviated a little bit away from paintball, right? I
Hmm.
just kind of went sideways, didn't watch a lot of videos, whatnot, and then with Tim at the ICC, just it was nice to kind of get back in, and have a really competitive environment to kind of come
Yeah.
back to, right?
Do you think that you'll ever play X ball again?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
at the
yeah.
highest level.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
At some
so
point,
you're not just back in it for the 10 man beer league. You're looking to get back in full of the swing of things.
yeah, at some point, when it makes sense, in a scenario that makes sense, they're changing a few things. They've got that one practice weekend now with, a lot of the top pro teams are going to be playing the entire week
Yeah.
leading up to the event. Whether or not I can kind of handle something like that at this point, we'll see. But some of the old structure with the 2 weekends, or even blind layout, something like that. I would love to help a team. I've helped lots of teams before, and we'll see what happens. I mean, options are always open, but yeah, can't ever say
Who are
no,
you
right?
talking to? Who are you talking to?
Nobody. Actually, I haven't talked to anybody.
Are you lying? Are you just trying to be
No,
secretive?
honestly, I'm no, super modest, and just waiting for the right time to pick my spot to somewhere, and that's it. But no, haven't
Take me
contemplated
with you. I want to come with you.
that. Well, to get those competitive juices flowing again, it's just we can't turn it off once it's back on, right? It's
Yeah,
just
true.
what happens.
Yep. Well, Andy, do you have a paintball item maybe a piece of memorabilia that is most cherished?
Um, so reason I played was for my peers back in the day, right? So
Mm.
in fact, I think the first tournament I played, a national event, I think we went to the World Cup. Chris Lasoya's on the sidelines, and he's giving me props, right? Look at that kid Andy play, and it's just like, I've seen him in the magazines, and how does that, how does that work, right? You're at your first national event and you've got someone scouting you already, right? So it's
Yeah.
crazy, but I play for, the reason I played is for my peers. And one thing that my peers gave me was somewhere where I was, at the top of my game, I got a pro patch. So I think it was Rusty and Maddie had something to do with it, and it's basically something given to a player that they recognize that had won not only tournaments but also like a championship, and had played for pro for I think a minimum of 10 years or something. So it was a kind of a nice little thing to get, and I did bring it back out once I started playing again in 19, and it was kind of nice to just throw on the goggles. I haven't played with it for a few events now, but it was nice. So I've
Well,
actually
let's
got
see it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've actually got it over here. So little
Whew.
tattered, but
It's got battle scars.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
that is the gold patch. Now, so there's actually two patches. There's a silver pro patch and a gold pro patch, and I don't actually recall what the uh, the qualifications, but they're actually pretty specific.
Yeah, we'd have to
So
get that from I think somebody like Rusty or Matty
he
Marshall or
started it.
something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Rusty
And I,
started the
I, I
pro patch, and
okay,
but I don't know if there's any kind of like verbiage anywhere or any kind of website for it. I don't know if he still gives them out. Um, but I
I'm not
remember I got
sure.
it. I earned a silver one, but I never got it. Never
Nice.
got it. Got handed to me.
Okay,
But
right.
the gold one is something else. That's another
Yeah, and I think the
another level.
star, because I think there were some without the stars, and then the star meant I think a series win as well.
Yeah, he
I'm
should
not
bring
quite
him
sure.
back, man. He should definitely bring him back. That'd be cool. Um, but yeah, Rusty. Yeah, I believe Rusty started that, and it was a really cool thing to get because, there's right now we have certain awards like there's the iconic awards, and that's a really cool thing to be recognized.
Okay.
But I mean, you think back in the day when Rusty gave you this patch, it's kind of like it came from a significant source. Like the honor had much more credibility to it because of its source,
Right.
right? So now Ryan Greenspan is doing uh, kind of a play on a Hall of Fame. It's called the Hall of Icons, and he's giving away jackets to people that are inaugurated in the Hall of Icons.
Nice.
So I think that's really important. I think it adds an element to the game where you can create fans. It gives you something to follow. So I think the more ways that we could recognize the heroes of yesteryear and today in paintball is definitely a positive thing.
Right, right. And you're helping as well. That's great. What you're doing is really a valuable service to the game as well. So good
Yeah.
job.
Couldn't do it without guys like you, man. Couldn't do it without my friends. And that's Andy, that's really what this is like it started off with just me asking some friends if they want to be on camera. And
Right.
that,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
how we ended up here. We were
Right.
in Tampa, and I saw you on the Mounds field, gave you a big hug, and we caught up a little bit, and that's how this came about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's what it's all
yeah,
about, right? Is kind of paying it forward too, because all of this knowledge that all of us have, kind of bottled up inside. I mean, I didn't think I even talked about paintball for 10 years or watched a paintball video at all in
yeah,
10 years. And it was
wow,
foreign to me, right? And I it's sad to have guys like, yourself, myself, and others that are still aren't back in the game. Um, it's not right having not having that experience and also a lot of that knowledge being out
Yeah.
there and just to digest it, as a sport to kind of move in the right direction, you've got to kind of, I guess, pay respects to those people that have been there before you, right?
Yeah, and Maddie has said that on a recent production for Go Sports. The five fingers of sports marketing. I don't remember them all, but it's heroes, history, expanding narrative. I can't remember what the other ones are, but history is a big part of getting people to care about the sport. So I think it's wildly important. I think guys like the original Dynasty guys that are still playing today are invaluable to the sport because they've been in it for so long, and they show people that you can have longevity in the sport, and they have so much knowledge to give. They're bringing up the new generation of players. If people just quit after 10 years, I don't know what would happen to the sport.
Yep. No, oh, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
we kind of owe it now to the younger players to kind of, get out there and spend as much time as we can to kind of, make it all kind of come full circle, really.
Yeah.
And I never one of those guys. I was always the quiet kind of shy kind of guy that just went about my business and, very
Yep.
modest, not looking for any props at all. And, you know, it's nice to kind of pass that knowledge along though that you've accumulated for all those years, right?
Well, what advice would you give to a player looking to make their way up the ranks in professional paintball?
Um, I don't, as far as say maybe for X ball or any sort of highly competitive, um, footprint in our game right now, whether it's, the 10 man or what have you, 7-man X ball, whatever it is. I think something underappreciated. What I try to do is push the envelope as much as physically possible, um, and you go backwards from there. So go to the snake 10 times in a row. If you make it
Mm.
once, next weekend you might make it two times. The
Mm.
weekend after you might make it three. And then when you're making it 9 out of 10 times, then you can dial it back, right? So how aggressive you can absolutely be in every situation. And then once you realize, I can get this move, I can do this move, I've timed this out right. I've got, I worked off of a situation that was happening on the field and I was able to sneak in a great spot. Um, once you have the aggressiveness down where you're just fully committed. I mean, I'm one of those guys that always, you want to send me to the snake 100 times in a row? I'm in. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
This is just the way it's going to be. And then once you learn how to kind of progress up the field, everything else behind it, you're learning, right? You're learning how to be a two to get into the number one role, right? I think if you
Right.
just constantly push that envelope, when you eventually get there during the game, if you can't, for whatever reason, you can't get up the field as quickly, you already know how to play that spot. You already have done that. You know how to close out that game really quick. So I think
Mm.
just that constant kind of push the aggression and then dial it back from there to work on the other elements of the game, right?
Got it. So how does one develop the persistence that's necessary to actually pull that off?
Well, I guess it's just for me, it's just like a undeniable will. Like just I'm
Mm.
gonna do it no matter what, and that's what it is. And you're gonna learn from it. You're gonna learn from your mistake every time. We're humans. We learn from our mistakes. Is the bigger the mistake, the more we learn. So I think
Mm.
the more you kind of put yourself out there, the better in those scenarios.
Would you say that you enjoy that process of putting yourself in that scenario?
Yes, definitely. I think more so than playing a paintball event. Like that
Mm.
whole process is more valuable to me than anything else. Of constantly
Wow.
pushing, finding ways, finding a way to get to a spot that's hard to get to, with a different route. that's more enjoyable than all these high stress points later in, on a Sunday or whatnot. And of course you got to go through all of this to get there, right? So in the first place, right? So you've got to learn kind of the hard way.
That's pretty revealing, like you're one of the best that's ever done it. And what you've just shared is that you found joy in the process of putting yourself outside your comfort zone to learn lessons before you got onto the competitive space. So it's love, right? It's love for the game first. And if you love it, that will allow you to persist through the challenges that are inherent, that are the challenges that are inevitable with putting yourself outside your comfort zone and trying something new or difficult point after point after point.
Yeah, yeah, it relates to a lot of things, just in general. You're you know, you have never put a gun in your left hand, do it, and then do it all day. Just
Yeah.
because. Just even out of the right side of your bunker, put your gun in your left hand or vice versa, right? Just put yourself out there and fail at it lots of times, because that failing in human nature, that will strengthen us, our resolve to make it work later.
Yeah. It's so funny because it seems counterintuitive, right? People shy away from failure, or they won't do something because of the possibility of failure. When really failure is our greatest teacher, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, you
Yeah.
nailed it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Andy, what would you say that you're most thankful for that paintball's given you?
Jeez. That I guess that brotherhood of warriors that we are, right? Just to be involved and respected.
Yeah.
Um, Coming back in the game after taking some time off, just the respect from, again, my peers from the past, my peers from the present. Um, that's great. That's what you're there for, right?
Mm,
Um, and it's just it warms the heart, right?
yeah. Yeah. I wish it was easier to explain, but like, it's funny because, when I saw you on the Mounds field, it's like I probably hadn't seen you in literally 10 years. But you build these relationships in paintball where you kind of just pick up where you left off. The same, quirks in humor that you have with someone, they're still there. Like, and our relationship was kind of like that. We just kind of had weird tones with each other, and like, and that's what I love about it, man. That's what I love about paintball is like you can pick right up where you left off with someone, and it's like they're the most important relationships I have in my life,
Right.
hands down.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's because we've gone through those steps together to basically you win a tournament or you win a championship. You've gone through those learning objectives together, and that
Yeah.
bonds the group, and those memories last forever, really.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Andy, thank you so much for your time here. Is there anything that you'd like to part with for the paintball community?
No, just thanks to you. Thanks to all the guys that are pushing the envelope, on the media side of things. Keep that up. That's great. And just, I guess thanks to my teammates, past, present, and future, and the family for always being there and putting up with those weekends away, and the commitment level that's required. Right.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy.
No worries. Have a good one. Peace.